My name is Shirley. I'm a student at Carnegie Mellon University, and this is my term project for the class 15112. So as you can see, for my term project, I made a game called Cat Galactica. It's basically a 2D game with pseudo 3D aspects. I didn't use any special modules, so the only way you can do 3D in just Python is kind of fake it a bit. I'll talk about that more later. Basically, there are two modes to this game, 3D mode and the side-scroll mode. And if you need help with instructions, you can click on help. All the graphics you see in this game are either made in tkinter or I drew them out myself. So let's get started with the play 3D mode. Okay, so on to the 3D mode. Basically, you play as a cat. You use the left and right arrows to navigate yourself, and spacebar to shoot the 3D shapes that are coming at you and grow bigger as they get closer to you. If you miss a shape like I did just there, one of your lives goes away, and once you lose all 3 lives, it's game over. Basically, for each shape you hit, your score goes up by 1, and every time you reach a multiple of 10 for a score, it speeds up, so the game becomes more difficult. And as you can see, I'm not doing that great. Okay, so once I lose all 3 of my lives here, it goes into game over, and then the game is over, and then you can press Q to go back to the menu. Okay, so now onto the 2D side-scrolling mode of the game. So basically, this game uses the same controls as the last one. You use the left and right arrows to navigate on the screen and the spacebar to jump. Basically, if you hit one of the shapes, you use a life, which is why one of the hearts are missing from the top right bar. And you can collect stars as well, and the stars give you extra points. Basically, normally the score increments as the time that you're alive increases. So, yeah. Okay, so basically the main difference between this mode and the 3D mode is that in this one, the sprite, the cat isn't actually moving, it's the background moving instead. I found that this was easier, especially with the 2D side-scrolling game, when you wanted like a character to always be in the middle of the screen even when you're moving. Whereas for the other mode, you're going to want to navigate back and forth so you can shoot all the different shapes. So yeah, that's the main difference. The 3D or pseudo 3D algorithms are the same for both. Basically just a lot of math in tkinter. Basically how I calculated the pseudo 3D of the shapes is I use an imaginary point in the middle of every shape, and from there I calculated the angles that you would need to draw in order to have like every other point on that shape. So for example, like in a cube, the center point would be like 0, 0, 0. We're using XYZ, and then going backwards would be negative, forward positive, and basically use some trig, and as the angles move, you want to recalculate those. So every time an angle moves a certain amount, when you redraw it, it also redraws it with the angle changed. And then once you put that all together and run it in redraw, it just looks like an actual 3D shape rotating.